Hey, ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Welcome back. This is Force here with some more discussion of The Elder Scrolls Online. I'm kind of winding down a bit with my obsession with this game. I think my marathon session is going to be coming to an end probably sometime pretty soon. Past couple of days, I really haven't played a ton, but today I spent about an hour in the game and I had an absolute blast. I want to share with you guys this little PvP experience that took place. So let me lay the groundwork here. I happen to be on a PvP campaign in Cyrodiil that's vastly outnumbered. My faction rarely has control of any of the keeps. Now, yeah, that kind of sucks, but I also like being outnumbered because it means there's always people to fight. Most of the time, there will be these big skirmishes right outside my front door. However, when I logged in to play today, that was not the case. There was like no enemies to be seen, but there was also no one on my team, not enough to take any of their keeps. So I thought, well, I'd like to fight some people. What should I do? And then I remembered there's this incredibly popular farming spot in Cyrodiil that goes by the name of Cracked Wood Cave. It just happens to have a lot of enemies in it, and the respawns are fast enough that it tends to be extremely good experience per hour gain, and it's something that every time I've ever gone there to even do some farming myself to try to level up my champion points, it's been absolutely full. However, given that my campaign vastly outnumbers my faction, that meant that there was just going to be a ton of enemies here in Cracked Cave, and I said I can take advantage of this, and I actually finally got to experience something that I've loved in the past about MMOs that have had open world PvP. So most of my PvP here in Cyrodiil has been that large scale stuff. You know, there's 10, 20, 30, 40, 100 people per side, and we're fighting in big open battlefields, trying to push their line and stuff like that. I tend to enjoy much more so the small skirmishes. I do feel like a lot of times it's a better showcase of skill, you know, barring the fact that this is a linear progression, a vertical progression RPG, meaning that gear and level and champion points play a major role in how you're gonna do, but you know what I mean. I just happen to find more fun in the smaller skirmishes, the 1vx's or the 2vx's, things like that. So I went to Cracked Wood Cave. I snuck up in there, and as expected, boatload of enemies. Like seriously, I was seeing red everywhere. The enemy faction just completely flooded Cracked Wood Cave. And I'm looking there. There's a couple of like lower level characters. I said, well, I could probably pick some people off before I die. But I'm like, why do I want to die? I don't want to run all the way back here. It's actually a little bit of a hike. So I said, let me play the rogue for the afternoon. Let's see if I can do this. Now, my class is not a stealthy class, but the interesting thing about the Elder Scrolls Online is that pretty much anyone can go invisible just by crouching. As long as you are not too near an enemy while you're crouching, they can't see you, so long as you went into the crouch stealth position while they did not have you in line of sight. So I started sneaking in these corners. I was hiding in these little areas, and I'd watch the entire enemy kind of roll on through. There'd be like a group of 5 to 10 people. They'd roll in, and they'd do their farming. They'd group everyone up, they'd AoE them down, etc. And then I'd wait. It's like I'm playing the hunter here. It's so great. It's like I feel like I'm a lion, like on the safari. We're just sitting in the back. We're watching the herd move through, and we're waiting until we see a few of those the weak ones and the young ones. Oh yes, I know it's awful, but you wait for the stragglers, and then you just roll on in, and boom! Like, it was so amazing. And what I did, it was so fun, because it's not just like, oh, good job, you like stealth ganked a bunch of scrubs. No, I managed to basically systematically pick them off, and like there's so much confusion, it seemed, because I'd sit in one room and I'd pick off 1 or 2 of them when I saw most of the group leave, and then I'd follow that large group into the other room. I'd hug myself right in the corner, and then when they went back to that other room, I would pick off the 1 or 2 stragglers that were there and just did it back and forth until I was literally the only person in the cave. It was just so fun, and it reminded me a lot of what I really liked about open world PvP in games. You know, we can talk a lot about high levels ganking low levels, and yes, that certainly is a pain in the ass. It's definitely most fun when there's at least some sort of balance there. But, you know, I've always enjoyed open world PvP because there's that really extra bit of danger. I feel like when you're in confined battlegrounds, or even just when, you know, you're doing the big sieging here in Cyrodiil in the Elder Scrolls Online, I don't feel there's quite as much weight to your death. But when, like, me being there by myself, surrounded by the enemy, and just being able to, like, use some cunning and outmaneuver them, and certainly take advantage of some of my level and gear, because there were some lower level players there. But it was just, man, it was a blast. I really had a good time, and it's kind of one of those things that's tough to replicate, because, you know, I did my first round and I managed to stay there for quite a while doing this and getting myself some PvP points. But then eventually they sort of caught on and they started rezzing each other, and then they started looking for me, and eventually it took them quite the effort, but they were eventually able to take me down. Yeah, it's pretty much, I just really wanted to share this experience with you guys because it was a heck of a lot of fun. It once again reminded me of why I like open world PvP, because there's that sense of, like, danger, you're sneaking in the shadows, and it was a really cool little adventure. I'm glad I could have that moment. As I sort of touched on at the beginning of the video, my obsession with this is sort of winding down a bit. This is how it tends to be with me. I get really fixated on one particular thing and go hard at it for a little while, and then I just eventually kind of putter out. I mean, frankly, I probably just burn myself out. It's not a healthy thing, but, you know, God, at least I'm not doing it with drugs or alcohol. Luckily, those have never been a vice of mine. It's basically exclusively ever been my entire life that I just get super obsessive over video games, and hell, even working out was a part of my life obsessively for some time. But yeah, I mean, getting obsessed over video games isn't the worst things, especially when you can have exciting moments like this. And I hope you guys enjoyed my little story of stealthing, sneaking around, stalking in the Cracked Wood Cave in the Elder Scrolls Online. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned this week. We got a bunch of other stuff coming up, a couple more episodes of the Force feed, and we're going to be doing some, of course, more Hearthstone and Heroes, and then a few other games should be sneaking their way on in here as I start to foray into things that aren't just ESO. Alright guys, thanks a bunch for watching. Stay tuned for more stuff. Okay, I'll see you later. Take it easy.